test. It's a bit low. Let's try again. Looks a bit better. Okay, is this thing on? What now?
Stop.
Hey guys, what are you doing?
I want to try it, Daddy. I want to try to do it to you.
So it's recording the whole thing. It's video is movement as opposed to a still. So you can be cool, dancing.
Did it.
You got one? Let's have a look.
Here comes Indy. Ready, go, Jizzy's. Wow, through his legs. Okay, hang on. So what have you got there, Andy
So
Pan?
this just arrived. That is a real metal.
That was Daddy's sword in Spartacus, Jessie.
And look, they've put my name on it.
Spartacus being the start of this crazy old journey.
Whoa, that is heavy.
It's really heavy.
So here we have my beautiful husband who's just finished his bone marrow biopsy.
I must have been out.
Yeah.
I don't remember much.
But cancer is back, and I guess where we're at is at a point of learning to live with cancer again, and all the repercussions and fears and everything that go with that.
And that's why we need to take it day by day. Beat this disease and live happily ever after.
We have a way in our lives and worlds where if we really focus on something and we really want to make something happen, we put absolutely everything into it. So there's a hand that's slightly overcooked. Even if it takes years, we are capable together, Andy and I, of making extraordinary things happen. You sit wherever.
What's this now?
Okay,
What's
so
this
there's
kind of...
Vashti and I have always had an amazing relationship, and we've achieved some quite remarkable things together in a relatively short time. Because we believe that all that is attainable. And it's such a powerful place to be when you can think like that. It creates the space for you to be clear and to run your life with your intuition and not with fear.
Our life has never been ordinary, thank God. You know, and we have a commitment that we have an extraordinary life.
That face. You see that face?
But it doesn't matter if we are successful or not. It's about the journey, and if you commit to it, something extraordinary will come of it. Hey, Indy, how old are you going to be on your birthday? 3? With 5 fingers.
How old are you going to be?
6.
Holy mackerel, 6.
16.
No, 6.
And how old are you going to be, old bugger?
I'm going to be 80.
14.
39 I'm going to be this year.
What a year.
A year.
The year.
I shall remember it.
Okay.
We're still rolling?
Okay, cut, good. Much better. Thank you.
I've spent the last 8 years trying to make it as an actor. And I pushed hard to get there. And it was the end of a long campaign when I auditioned for the lead of a huge American TV series.
At one point in that journey, Andy had gone for Spartacus and he was in LA.
Whatever happens to me, my men, their families, happens because we choose it. We decide our destiny, not the Romans.
And I remember that day I wore a little note in both cups of my bra, because I had boobs then, saying, Andy is Spartacus. Andy is Spartacus. I kept sending him emails saying, how fantastic, you've got Spartacus, before he even got it. We made it happen. And that's how we roll.
Why are you here? What's happening? What's going on?
Well, this is real. That's real sweat. This is Gladiator boot camp. I started yesterday, and my buttocks are killing me.
I turned up on day one going, this is actually a bit terrifying now, because this is what I've wanted for so long, and it's here, and I have to deliver.
Andy literally arrived back from LA and went straight off to start shooting in New Zealand, and suddenly becoming Spartacus and cutting a six-pack and glutes and pecs of steel.
I mean, I was exhausted, but I'm pretty sure anyone would have been. It's one of the most extreme things I've ever gone through.
The mighty Spartacus.
I think Spartacus is a unique show. I mean, we're walking around in your underwear. I mean, you have to train your ass off just to look the part, let alone doing your own fight choreography and the long film days.
Spartacus! That is not my name.
And of course, the action is a big component of this show, but it's just there to highlight the drama. The story is about an everyman who finds himself captured by the supposedly civilized Romans and is forced to fight for his own survival. And I think as the show continues, his passion to help liberate all the people trapped by circumstances of which they had no control becomes something that he can really put his energy into.
How much longer? How much blood until we're free?
Soon. I promise you.
He just can't sit back and take the abuse. He'll make a stand for everyone and everything. However, many times they knock him down. While there is still blood pumping through his veins, he will get up and fight and never, never, ever stop. And there's certainly parts of me that I can identify with that. So it's really my dream role to be the title character and to collaborate with all these amazing people.
How white your teeth are. I got the Gladiator 73 BC. It's the Gladiator smile.
And to have the show so well received and successful, I sort of had everything at my feet. Season 1 of Spartacus finished, and I was in a lot of pain at the end of that. I wasn't sure what it was, and it wasn't going away.
I got a call saying, "Hun, I'm in trouble." And I said, "What do you mean? You've just gone to see a sports doctor." And he said, "I think I've got cancer." And I threw myself in a taxi and raced across Sydney to look at a huge X-ray, a basic one nonetheless, of my husband's body with black patches everywhere.
I ended up being diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it was pretty extreme. It was stage 4 at the time. And so everything went on hold with a view to coming back. My oncologist was saying, You know, if you want to get cancer, this is the one you want. It's 80% treatable. You're young and healthy. You'll just breeze through the treatment. And so I never, ever was scared of it.
The whole treatment, Andy had to go through the chemotherapy, but he did it extraordinarily gracefully, humbly, and he gave everything to how he could heal himself. I really fell in love with him even more through that.
I went into remission, which was great. Everything got back on track and a gallop to the next season, season 2.
The champion of Capua, the bringer of rain, Andy Whitfield.
You know, I'd like to take this opportunity as well just to thank some of the messages I got from the fans. You know, it was kind of, you know, profound and moving to get such a connection from complete strangers. So thank you. You gave me a great lift when I needed it. Thanks.
Since then, I had to have an insurance scan for season 2 to go back to shoot. You know, just to make sure I was still okay, still in remission. And they found a resilient little subset of cells. And they said, you know, if you do nothing, you'll be dead within 3 to 6 months. It just doesn't add up to me. You know, when I asked the oncologist what causes the disease I have, no idea. No idea. I mean, how do you fix something if you don't know the cause? You can patch it up, but does it take away the conditions that created it and maintain it in the first place? And so I've just become fascinated with that question right now, and I think there's a whole world out there to look at to try and answer that question.
What I want for us now is to be really clear about what we want from this journey, and that is to just learn from each other, grow from it, and not be frightened by it.
In my heart, I am convinced that this is all meant to be. It's supposed to be right here, right now, and I'm open to the journey and to the discoveries and to the adventure of all of this. Be here now. It's all about being present and not fearing what you don't know. And so I feel really passionate and inspired to do this, even though I have no idea how it's going to turn out.
It's the weekend, and it's the day after we've just found out that Andy's got that lymphomas come back, and heard all sorts of, you know, fucking scary information about what that means.
I think I'm just so numb from too much information that I just don't know how I feel right now.
Let's go in with a context to just hearing about a second opinion and make sure that the treatment actually will have some effect on overpowering the cancer.
To me, it's very simple. Your best chance of long-term survival, long-term remission, living happily ever after, is to have some reinduction therapy and then get your stem cells collected and then have a stem cell transplant.
And can you explain to me what the principle is?
Phase A, 2 cycles of reinduction chemotherapy, each take about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
During one or both of those, we'll collect stem cells. Then we do phase B, which is the big dose of chemotherapy, the biggest hammer to knock the disease out. That will knock out your own bone marrow, but as soon as we've done the chemotherapy, we rescue your bone marrow with the stem cell transplant.
Okay.
You'd be convinced that's the right treatment, and then get on and do it.
Sure.
And it does, but it doesn't mean do it tomorrow. We have a little bit of time.
Right. Okay.
I'm gonna cry. I just feel so relieved to speak to someone who's speaking about it without this, like, if you don't do this, you're gonna die and you can't see your kids. And it just feels really good to hear it said with such grace. And I know nothing's certain, but it just feels strangely more supportive. Sorry. Sorry, I'm fine.
Do you have this effect? They
always make women cry.
My oncologist said, let's do some rounds of chemo, get it in remission, do the stem cell transplant, and hopefully live happily ever after. I've just been liberated and so free all day. And I guess now the night's coming and I'm tired. I've been up since 4 this morning. And I'm starting to panic again. And yeah. When I was first diagnosed, I got treatment, had chemotherapy, and at the time my oncologist was saying 80% of people who go through this go into remission.
You gonna race for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
On your marks, get set,
Go! Go, Indy! Get him!
But in my case, it wasn't as successful. And what they're saying now is that there is a second level of treatment. But only 25% of the people that go through the best the world has to offer make it. It's suddenly a different level of things at stake. Where I'm at right now is trying to understand the current approach, and is it the best way to go? They did a biopsy and they found a subset of resilient cells.
Yep.
And so we're kind of saying now you have to go on to the next level of treatment, which is much more intense chemo.
Okay.
It's my responsibility to pursue whatever I need to do to get my health back, whether it's through chemotherapy or alternative treatment. And then there's the whole psychological side of illness to deal with.
I'd like you to think back to a time when something really got your attention.
I think having a positive outlook in your own treatment has got to help. Even if it's a 1% improvement in your prognosis.
And just tell me what you're noticing right now about the sensation.
It's like a stadium.
Okay. What do you notice about the energy of the stadium?
Everyone's cheering.
And have you noticed who they're cheering for?
Yeah.
And just allow that to completely fill your body. Bathing in that feeling of being supported.
Dad, want me to do one of your roles in Spartacus?
Yeah.
We're in a real crossroads about what to do.
Have a kiss. Have a kiss.
Andy is literally on hoof running from one inquiry, from Ayurvedic medicine to acupuncture, all of which, if it were me, I would be doing too. And I am in no way pushing him to do chemotherapy. But you just want to do what you think will fix the situation. And I've caught myself doing that with such surprise recently, like wanting Andy to just get well, just do the quick things so we can get on.
I've read plenty of anecdotal stuff about people doing this whole Ayurvedic treatment to manifest health. You know, I'm obviously being advised to do chemotherapy. They said, we'll book you in for the 3rd of November. And I think 3 weeks I could go to India. I could go and see what that does first.
I can't see how that could be a process that wouldn't assist and even allowing your body to get strong so that should you have to go down that chemotherapy path, you're going to be in an even better position to be able to manage that process.
I feel like I'm on a path, and if I choose one way, I'll be fine. I will. If I go chemotherapy, I'll get through. I'll be in the 25%.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that. But there's this whole other path here that I really believe in.
Yeah.
I believe in this
Yeah.
more than I do this right now. And
Yeah.
maybe that's what's the problem for me.
Can I just say, I
Worried
do
about
support that. I second you doing that 100%.
Well, I just need some support on it from the people around me, because I just feel like I'm doing it on my own and people think I'm mad.
But who thinks you're mad?
You do.
I don't think, I've never said I think I'm mad.
No, but...
So here's the thing. Sometimes what you're getting is an unprocessed me. You know, like I might have had, like last night I dreamt about this. I dreamt about, because it's my girlfriend's anniversary of dying 3 years ago from cancer. Last night I dreamt that we just didn't have time and we'd left it too late. And he went for chemo and they said, I'm sorry, we can't do it because it's everywhere. It's too late. And I just remember thinking, if we'd just been open to everything and tried everything, Jesse would have a dad. And that was my dream, and it's terrifying. So I wake up, you go off and meditate, I go down, make lunches, have the gorgeous little people screaming at me, yelling at me, and what's still going on in my head is that we didn't have time. And then you're saying you're not supporting me, and I'm trying to process that, get that silly thought out of my head because I don't believe it anyway, but it's in my whole body, to then support you going off and doing some more exploratory work. You know, when I know that all day I'm going to be feeling strange. As a mother with 2 children, there is a protective streak in you that goes, what if he did die? And that's an awful thing and something I can't explain to Andy, but it's in me as the possible parent who would be supporting these 2 little people. And I think it would break Andy's heart to hear that I am even considering that as an option, but I can't help it. Does that make any sense to you?
It does.
What's going on for you?
Well, I knew all that was going on. I know all that's going on, and I'm your husband. I know you more than anyone. And I guess how I'm getting through it is it's a trust thing. I'm trusting. And you know, in that space, then anything is possible. And I just, it's hard and unreasonable to ask anyone else to trust as much as I do.
I feel like there's a lack of trust or something in me, and I'm not clear on what that is, but it has me conflicted in how to support him, even though in my heart I know I support him fully in whatever he chooses to do. I do trust that whatever you do is the right thing, and you just have to know I support it whatever it is. As long as it doesn't harm anybody else, I support it. And you just need to know that.
All right.
in something that's so powerless and horrific as cancer. You know, you didn't choose to have it, and there is no getting out of it. There's no, like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And at the same time, there's no one going, let's just do this. It's going to kill cancer. It's going to be okay. But at the end of the day, you've got to make a call. And it's a big call to put your faith in one camp. What if they're wrong? I think the way you navigate through is to use your intuition. And then you have to dig deep and trust that the future is bright. So I just had a profound insight, feeling, and I'm going to India. Okay, so here we are. Where are we? Now I'm going to go all the way in a plane to Delhi. So it says
And maybe show Jesse where Grandpa Bob is coming from.
Oh, yeah.
Grandpa Bob's going to
My
Delhi.
dad, your granddad, is coming from a little island in Wales there, straight to Delhi.
Was it to Delhi? Oh,
Yeah. So that's where I'm going today.
Love you. Yeah, I'm going to be fine.
See you in 3 weeks.
You will.
Welcome to India. It's like a different planet. It's magical, beautiful, colorful chaos. I'm here. I'll start treatment tomorrow and it feels amazing. There's nothing to fear. I've had a bit of a battering this year. I had 6 rounds of chemo, and it's such a poisonous treatment that kills your good cells as well as hopefully the bad ones. So it's time to do something cleansing. This is all kind of 5,000-year-old, no side effects, slightly magical medicine. I'm losing some. It's a perfectly natural way of purifying the body to help rebalance your system. And for me, that's a more inspiring form of treatment. Very lucky to be here. My dad's coming soon. I'm really looking forward to it. Welcome to India. How are you?
What a journey.
How are you?
I'm fine. You? Looking good.
I feel good. I feel good.
When I first heard the path Andrew was taking, I was a little concerned because I have a conditioned prejudice that Western approaches may be the only way that's available. But this is what he wanted to do.
Yeah, maybe that's the one. Yes.
And I hope that he will come away feeling quite relaxed and ready for the next step of the journey.
Today I'm going to see the Indian astrologer, and he's gonna look at my life. I have to tell them where I was born and at what time and what date, and then they can calculate my journey.
Yeah, this is your horoscope.
Okay.
Your ascendant is Capricorn. According to Vedic astrology, you born in Capricorn.
Okay.
And your moon sign is Virgo. Gemini sign.
Gemini.
Gemini, Virgo.
My wife is Gemini.
Then good. She is good for you. Gemini, Virgo, Taurus.
My son is Taurus.
Very good. Your Mars is exalted in the ascendant. It means you are a very courageous and bold person. And now I will tell about the 6th house, about your health. The Lord of 6th house, Mercury, in 10th house with Sun and Venus. The Sun, the planet, is weak in your horoscope. It shows little difficult time for health. This is, it looks a little bit serious.
Wow.
That may create short life. In my opinion, I think you will overcome. There is more support from the planet. And if you pass these 2-3 years, then you will have lot of good things.
Okay.
Any question?
So I have a question around, because in Australia they do chemotherapy. And
Yes. You have to do little bit this kind of treatment, chemotherapy.
Thank you.
I think, yes, in my opinion, this shows some difficult time but you will overcome because there is nature support. That shows you long life.
I take that.
Somehow.
He thinks I'll be okay. But he says maybe 2 or 3 years of, struggle. Oh. Wow. I already knew that the next year was going to be kind of tough with treatment and recovery, and I guess the whole point of the chart and the astrology is to avoid the danger that's not yet come. That's what they keep saying, to avoid the danger that has not yet come. People have always been talking to me about don't paddle upstream.
go with the flow. And I was like, I totally get that, but it wasn't until I was actually in the Ganges that I sort of went, of course, it's going that way anyway, go with it. And if there's a rock, paddle around it. As it comes up, you can see the danger and you can navigate around it. And so it was a really nice thing to just go, I'm just gonna go with the flow. Can't be questioning why, just accept the things you can't change and do something about the things you can.
The whole experience from my point of view was quite surprising. I feel personally so much better than when I came, but I have to believe that it's done the same for him.
I didn't want to do chemotherapy for a long time.
See you soon.
But my destiny is assured whatever I do. I'll do the chemotherapy to kill cancer. And I will use everything I've learned along the way to rebalance me and help me for the rest of my life.
Be interesting to see how I go when I get home back in the mentalness of the West.
It's Friday, day 1 of chemo. I'm going to be here for 4 days now. Well, 5 including last night. And I just realised there's been no joy until my gorgeous wife arrives and we have a giggle.
You can press up and down and up and down. How are your abs?
Burning.
You could have a six-pack by the end of your chemo. Anyway.
Where are we?
Just up here behind that traffic light.
Look how many holes I've got.
I know, I'm just looking at your punctured kind of pincushion arms.
Oh, fucking holes everywhere.
Okay.
Will you promise that you won't wake me up every 3 hours and take my temperature and blood pressure tonight?
No, I will be expecting you to do your husbandly duties, so...
What's that?
It's those actions that you have to do so that your wife doesn't get herself a lover.
Oh, I'll probably just get a lover. I'll be on my nausea pills. I am Spartacus.
Oh, darling, welcome home.
Home.
Now we've got to be gentle to Daddy Bear. Poor Daddy. Listen, very gentle but big kisses for Daddy because he's going to bed now.
Give me a coat.
Can I see your arm?
It's all gone.
I like kisses for that.
Come on then, let's go and get into bed.
Good night.
Hi guys.
No disturbing Daddy, he's sleeping now. It's good to have him home, but I do feel a tiny sense of anxiety about the fact that I'm going to be looking after him and I don't know how he's going to be.
I have no idea where the last week has gone.
had some reaction to one of the drugs. I literally lost my mind. I spent 3 or 4 days just talking myself off a roof. I descended into the darkest, most bleak depression. I just could not see an end to it.
He couldn't really share conversation properly and didn't know what he wanted. And he was actually, I don't know if he realised, but really quite aggressive and
Don't remember anything.
angry, and said quite a few really strange things to me. When we spoke to the doctor, he said it's a totally unknown, unheard of reaction, and that there's no way they could foresee it, and so not going to do it again.
So they're going to go back to the old mixture of chemo.
You've got a brilliant knack of phoning at the worst time at the moment, I have to say. I tried to call you last night several times. So, yeah, so it's been a weird couple of days, and it feels like we're sort of seeing the light, and yeah. So, yeah, and I'm in a sort of slightly peculiar, resistant place at the moment to it all. Well, I'm not, and at the moment I feel like a fucking crap wife and a horrible mum and a selfish person with all the thoughts going on in my head. Yeah. No, it's not that. I never say why is this happening. I just want more fucking time. I just need some time to take it all in. It's just been really full on. I feel torn. I'm so torn.
It's very easy to go, fuck, I've got cancer. I've got cancer. I could die. And why me? And feeling angry and seeing people everywhere going, wow, they're worried about a pimple they've got on their face, or that poor guy's broken his leg and he won't be a triathlete anymore. And I've got cancer.
Anyway, I'm fine, Mum. Don't freak out. I just knew I'd fall apart when I spoke to you. So are we too.
My mum's coming from Wales. It'll be good to have her around, and she's tough. She's tough, my mum. And we'll take some pressure off Vashti, because I'm conscious that Vashti's trying to manage the children and me, and sometimes you just need your mum.
I feel so torn in so many different ways. Because I'm trying to look after my children, giving them the love they need. And at the same time, I'm trying to support Andy when he's feeling confused or completely lost. This has been a big smack in the chops for both of us. We're just both in transition of being ready for what this journey is about, which is a lot more intense than we expected, I think. But I'm really hoping that will change when Andy's mum comes to the rescue.
Hey guys, Grandma's here. Okay.
How are you, Mum?
Oh, it's lovely to see you. How are you? How are you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm really well.
Good. So Andy said he feels better.
Yeah, you're catching him like on the first really, really good day.
I hope while I'm here that I can support Vashti, do lots with the children who are a delight and make you forget.
I think these ones bend the other way, don't they? They bend backwards.
I hope I can, in the smallest way, make a difference.
Got a genius child, you know.
I know.
Just support and love and be there.
What would you like done with your hair today, love?
Well, I thought
Have you been anywhere nice for holidays?
something practical, summery, cool,
And shorter.
stylish.
I came over with slightly mixed feelings because it wasn't what you want, but it's a good time. I think you have to look at that and know that you're actually going to get a lot out of it, and it's special time.
I'm going to decorate next to you.
Show me. Do one. There you go.
Well done, Indy.
Hi.
Andy was booked in to go in for chemo, and he got there and they decided that what they were going to do is run a scan to make sure there were no surprises.
Okay.
The result was that there was nothing new, and that the original lymphoma had at least halved, which is a fantastic sign because he means he's responding to the treatment.
Oh, nearly. Run with the ball.
I can't wait to go in and get round to done. Because it's working. And as strange as it is to be in a ward 24/7 hooked up to a machine, and I just want to get in, get this cancer killed off.
Hi, boys. What are you doing here today, Jesse?
I've got something to do today.
Is that your new cuddly toy?
What did you
I came out of the second lot of big chemo, and it's not too bad. Like I feel fine, and I look really well. Now they'll collect stem cells. And then sometime after Christmas, I'll go in. And hopefully I'm in remission. Assuming I am, I'll then do the stem cell transplant. And the stem cell transplant wipes out any underlying disease. It's going to be the end of it. Now I want to look at all your gorgeous faces. To another year of adventure. And slightly less drama, but drama of a different kind.
Yes, maybe a thriller film drama.
Maybe.
Look at that.
In some aspects, this was the best year of my life. And for all the downsides of
treatment, there was all the joy of being at home and being with my kids and my wife. With the turning of the new year, I just get excited about getting through treatment and surviving cancer.
So excited for the premiere? Yeah, I am. I guess this is the first. I mean, we've all seen it and we love it, so it's kind of nice that we get a chance to finally share it after all the hard work.
This time last year, I was the lead of a big, successful American TV series. After much effort and sacrifice, I finally got to where I wanted to be. I don't remember like a career counselor going, so what do what is it you want to do? I don't remember any of that. I just remember someone saying you need to go to university, pick something. And the guy across the road was an engineer. So I did engineering, and then I did that for 15 years. And then one day, some girl grabbed me in a cafe and she said, "Who's your agent?" And I was like, I don't have an agent. And she said, "I'm a photographer, can I take your picture?" And that ended up in a magazine, and I was a model.
He kind of stepped into modelling, was hugely successful very quickly. And he was at one point the highest used model for Australian TV commercials. And then little parts in TV started showing up.
Excuse me, I'm looking for Pam Holman. These are her boys. They're here to see their dad. There wasn't enough work to just give up my engineering, so I bounced it for a couple of years.
Mr. Lee?
I've got investors arriving in half an hour, and they're supposed to have publicity material which your secretarial service is supposed to have printed out.
I see.
I'd take a month off and go to LA and try and get something big. Jane Porter, I'm Tarzan.
Do you think I'd go for a skinny bitch like you?
And roll.
React to camera?
And then Vashti fell pregnant, and I sort of realized, oh my God, I've got to provide for everyone now. You know, like, my wife's not going to be working. And I just thought, I'm just going to put acting on the back burner. And then literally the next day, my agent rang and said, they've got an audition.
I have no desire to fight you, Gabrielle. Shoot me if you must, but I beg you hear what I have to say first.
I never trust your kind.
They rang the next day and said, they've offered you the lead role in this movie, but it's not paid. I was like, great. There's no way I can do it. And Vashti said, like, what would you rather tell your son? That you didn't do this thing you've been trying to do for years because of money? Or that you just did it anyway? And so I just did it.
Gabe?
It's my fault.
Gabe, you gotta talk to me. Listen, you gotta talk to me. Gabe, listen.
No!
Look at you!
You don't understand!
From that, I got American agent and manager, and I flew into America, and a year later, I had Spartacus. Nine months filming and a 6-year deal. You know, I had offers, film offers. Didn't have to audition anymore. And was planning the next career move. All the effort of trying to make it. I was set. And I've been kind of mourning the loss of that victory, if you like, because this lymphoma is still not in remission. My mind's going crazy. I just don't know. Got my faters for the next little while. Feel sick.
I got you some DVDs to choose from. Got so Mad Men 3. Yeah, Sunshine Cleaning, which is a really cute, funny film.
I had a PET scan yesterday, and that was to show that everything was in remission and I could go on and do the next stage, which was the bone marrow transplant. But we got a call this morning from the specialist secretary saying, you better come in. He wants to talk about your results.
Is that enough?
What, for a week?
Yeah.
In a nutshell, all the original lymphoma has gone, except this new area, which was never there before. I just don't know what's ahead now. You know, is it one round of chemo? Is it another round? What is it?
It's unusual for lymphoma to respond in one part and grow in another. We've got to find a cunning way of treating this.
It wasn't until I got to the ward that Professor Gibson said, we need to knock this on the head. This drug that we're going to give you now specifically targets really fast-growing stuff. You're going to be in for 10 days. This is the big guns now. If you're not having a response to this kind of chemo, then nothing else is really going to work. It was the first time anyone mentioned that. Before, it was an easy case for him, and now it feels like it's getting more of his attention. I'm having high-dose chemo now. I'm really feeling it. I've already got some ulcers.
I mean, whose mouth is that?
I just don't recognize it. My gums are all receding and kind of raw. And I guess my stomach as well is trashed, and I've got this rash. I can see it all over my body, which is kind of chemo heat. And I just feel sorry for my body, for my cells. They're taking such a battering. So hopefully this big hit will get it under control and we'll get back on track for the transplant. I can smell some children.
Is it your daddy?
Hello, beautiful children.
That's you.
That's me.
Oh, it looks just like
I've got one hair left on my chin.
That is perfect, Indy.
Thank you.
Well done.
That's beautiful.
Hello, Jessie Red.
Hello, can I have a cuddle?
Daddy, daddy,
Give me
daddy.
a cuddle, gorgeous. Oh, I've missed you guys. What have you been up to? You been looking after everyone for me? Yeah? I miss you too. I really should be in remission by now. But treatment's dragged on for nearly a year. And that's sometimes a bit of a heavy burden for everyone.
That's you fat.
That's me fat. And I have no body, just a fat head with arms and legs. It does look like me.
You got a body.
Yeah, I have. I don't know what effect it's having on the children. But, you know, I'm sort of realizing more and more that they're incredibly perceptive kids anyway. And I've been broaching the subject of, I've never actually mentioned the word cancer. I've said I have a problem with my blood, or my blood needs replacing or needs fixing, you know. It's a sort of semi-serious context, but hey, don't worry, I'm going to be fine. Hey, Jessie Red, what's happening? How was your week?
Thank you very much. How was yours?
Very good, thanks. Thank you for asking. I think with kids, as long as what they're seeing matches what they're being told, it's kind of easy to understand and go along with. Okay, I'm just going to shave.
He's just taking his hair out because the medicine's making it come out.
Nice big clump.
It's coming up.
Yeah, I'm having a haircut.
Give me your hair. Do you want me to cut your hair off too? No. No, I'm only joking.
I asked Indy if I could have her hair for a bit.
No.
We're all in it together and getting through it as a family.
Going into bed, lie down, and you can hear the story.
And of course, my mum's been so brilliant and supportive.
She's been here for 4 months, and of course, the treatment's gone on much longer than we hoped, so her trip's been extended. So my dad's coming out tomorrow.
Right, I think it's time to tuck you both in bed.
I'm really looking forward to seeing him. I'm really excited about having him around.
I need that.
You might need some more.
I need that pink.
It's another great gift of this whole journey.
Good to see you.
How are you?
Hello.
I'm good.
Let me be useful.
She's the man of the house.
I'm the man of the house at the moment.
Read me your email.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Hello, lovely folk. It's another spectacular, hot, clear day in Sydney, the kind of day you English folk are dreaming of, but in all honesty, we're longing for the autumn. Andy's doing really well, and in the midst of an additional couple of rounds of chemo, he's sitting strumming on his beautiful guitar with a big smile on his face, which is partly to do with the fact that this morning he woke up with a massive boner, the first one for a wee while. So in truth, we're both smiling. That's all for now. Sending you lots of love. Keep the updates coming and your lives rolling in, as it's nice to be connected with people off this island.
Well, thank you for sharing my morning boner with
Hundreds of friends.
millions.
Okay, that's sent. But I haven't sent out updates for so long now, just because I didn't have anything to say, in all honesty. I was just trying to process everything.
What's different?
I just think for me it was like, I just feel so much calmer and more grounded. I think readjusting my perspective and reframing that life right now is about this.
Yeah, and you seem a lot better. You just seem so more grounded, I guess.
This is just what it is. Right here, right now is today, and enjoying today. I've just felt like I'm trying to speed track this treatment so that we can just get on with our lives. But the most conflicting thing is to fight against it. And ultimately, I just have to be there for Andy. Which is why we chose to walk the earth together. When I first met Andy, I was at university, and it was one of those summers backpacking, and lots of different friends from different unis kind of all got together.
I was with a long-term girlfriend, and she said, "Do you want to come on holiday with a bunch of people?" And Vashti was one of them. And then 4 years later, I was walking down an alleyway in East London, and this girl walks by, and she shouted my name.
I couldn't quite remember his name, and I went, "Oh, Andy." And he looked around, and I went, "Vashti." And we both were marveled at the difference in the way we looked. He was this really handsome man. He was fairly humble and very gentle, which is some of the things I really loved about him on first meeting him.
My first impression of Ashley was powerful. She was just this fearless atomic bomb. And I guess I was the other side. I was quite quiet person growing up. I was born in the 70s. In the north of England, it wasn't a world of possibility and excess. They'd had a grim old time. And I just grew up on a nation's values like that. Life is tough and you can't have your cake and eat it.
What stood out is, I see these pictures of a really happy little boy, and there was clearly quite a close little family. It just looks completely different to my upbringing with hippie parents. I was born in Wales also, coincidentally. But they decided that they would drive across land from England to India with my sister and I. So we travelled around everywhere. We were in Afghanistan, Iran, Pakistan for quite a few years of our junior life. So there's a fierce independence that I was given by their lust for adventure. When I met Andy, I'd met someone to walk beside, and that feeling was overwhelming. His humbleness and my kind of rah brought a balance to two people that benefited from something else.
And I think as we've grown, there's been times where we're reversed, where I've been the one that's been charging hard and she's been able to sort of sit still and find new parts of herself in that.
Andy taught me to not have to be strong. And I'd become this softer, more vulnerable person. And so together, kind of like a lioness and a butterfly, teaching one to be strong and one to be soft, became this love affair.
To the right. And in. And forward. And folding forward. Rolling on up. And through center. Through the nose. Ujjayi. Let's do something else, Andy.
I think I heard some Whitfield children.
Daddy's under a pink blanket.
All your eyes.
Don't play for 5 minutes and let Daddy just come to.
What are you doing, Daddy?
I'm doing a really relaxing thing.
I'm up on my own in the middle of the night in discomfort. And there's been a lot of this
Kind of reminds me of before I got diagnosed last year, and just the constant sleepless nights and the pain. This aching pain that just won't go away adds to the usual pre-scan anxiety.
I had to catch up on the my homework. You know the first page I didn't do?
Yeah. This is such a roller coaster of a week. What do you mean? Oh, you got one? Great, actually, which one?
That one has Anakin in it.
And all we can do is go with it.
And Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's brand new.
And I'm constantly fighting to not get caught in the terror of it all. But I haven't got any answers, and I haven't really got any space to process them because I'm trying to process what's coming next with Andy. Babe.
Terrible. Being terrible. Feel so much pain. I don't know what to do.
But I've got Jessie. Are you okay with Jessie?
Let's go home.
All right, I'll be very quick. Andy was really sleep deprived and exhausted. And our oncologist basically just stormed in there like a bull in a china shop with a bunch of other registrars around him and read Andy the right act on his chances being slim and could be a choice if he wanted to just not go ahead.
I said, well, what's that alternative? He says, well, you'll die of lymphoma. I'm like, well, what? I think we'll keep going.
I will support whatever you choose. If you choose that chemo is the way.
Well, you know, I've had 11 rounds of chemo, you know. I've had 11 rounds of fucking chemo over the last year, and perhaps that's too much. And deja vu, here we are, waiting for the phone to ring to see what my fate is, according to, you know, my oncologist. So it's kind of make or break today. Here we go.
John. Hello. Hi, we're here. Sorry, I'm just putting you on loudspeaker.
Okay. All right. Nothing good, I'm afraid.
Okay.
The PET scan compared to the previous scan showed that the mass in the abdomen was larger and more active. This is clearly not a result that any of us wanted. This represents the nasty, aggressive nature of your recurrent lymphoma that is resistant to all of the standard lymphoma drugs. And so maybe it is worthwhile considering radiotherapy.
Okay. Wow.
We're really in a very tight corner with not too many other options. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. So how do you feel, huh?
You know, the good thing is it's totally unrelated to chemotherapy, so it's, you know, it's not like if chemotherapy works, radiation doesn't work, you know.
Well, you know, there's a couple of tracks. You can go to a second opinion. You can go and find another oncologist who might want to try a different mix. There's got to be alternative ways of reducing your lymphoma.
Sure, let's find out. I love you.
I love you too. And you look calm.
Yeah, I guess for the last few days, I've been facing my own mortality. For the first time, I've actually gone, you know what, I wonder what it would be like just to go, I might die. Whereas before it's been like, I don't care, you know, whatever I have to say, I'm going to make it. And it's been really liberating to sort of actually sit in it and go, you know what, I might only have 3 months left. That might be my journey. And I'm not actually afraid of that. And I guess that's why I mentioned before about there's this sort of, it feels almost selfish to think like that because there are other people at stake. You know, there's my children who need a father and my wife who needs a husband. Although I don't do that much right now.
Good job.
And I don't know, I just think I've kind of made some peace over the last few days with that. Which is sort of weird because I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I certainly feel...
But I don't think you should think about it, I think you should just feel it. I want you to do what's in your heart and not what your head tells you to do. Because I think you're really clear on that, and perhaps you've not listened to that because you've been so frightened and sick. And I just know that whatever happens, because I don't see you not being there, that the kids will honour and respect the choices you made to be here and to take them on that journey.
I guess you do anything to be there for your kids, you know, and that's what I still want to do.
Right now I just feel overwhelmed. And I'm not sure how it's all going to work. I know it will. But I just feel ripped off again today.
I can't believe it. I just don't know why it isn't working. Oh, shit. This is huge. This is huge. And terrifying. I gotta go.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how do you feel?
I feel a bit wiped out the last 2-3 days. Really lethargic and I don't have my usual self-motivating oomph. Here I am, 9 months later, pretty fucked, pretty depleted. I'm now in the minority group where I'm not responding to chemo. And it's truly frightening. I'm just trying to find some serenity and some calm in it. I know that, you know, with fear and anger, which, you know, probably the same thing really, they're all outward. It's all depleting, you know, when you invest in it, it's kind of not helpful. And the opposite of that is love, compassion, and forgiveness. And so if you can convert it into that, that's an inward thing, you know, that's a healing thing. And I guess it's part of my evolution to get through this.
feel some warmth there, Andy?
Yeah, it feels great.
Because I think that brings together the whole psychological, emotional, spiritual side of a person.
You know, you shouldn't wait to get cancer before you start to think that way.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
And Professor Gibson spoke to me on Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
And he talked to me about your scan result and asked me to see you to think about some radiotherapy.
And have you seen the scan results?
Yeah, so this is your head,
Yeah.
your arm, your spine, this is your bladder.
Yeah.
So that's
Black-
not the lymphoma?
No, the
Okay.
black part is uptick, so
Yeah.
it's normal in the brain. And your bladder, so this is the lumbar lymphoma.
Right.
Breaking it there.
Like the smaller black mass in the middle is the lymphoma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you feeling in general?
I'm feeling a little better from not doing chemotherapy, but there's pain. Almost like sciatica, but not shooting.
Your legs are feeling strong, you don't feel weak.
Well, when I walk,
Balance is good.
when I walk for a while, I get a sensation that I just need to stop walking and crouch down.
Because of?
Because I feel a slight, a building tension in there.
Yeah, in your back.
Mm.
It's giving you radiotherapy alone for a lumbar lymphoma that hasn't responded to chemotherapy. It's not enough. It won't be for long-term cure. Then we'll assess your response with another PET scan, CT scan, and then we're back to
The pain is just getting worse and worse.
We just have to battle through this. Zap the fuck out of it. Get his pain under control and we go somewhere and start treatment somewhere else. And I don't believe it's Andy's or my destiny for him to leave this life this early through lymphoma. I don't believe that at all. It doesn't feel in my gut that that's how it is. Just think about Jessie and Indy. You've got to get through this. You can do it. 5 minutes. Count it down. Yeah. Try and breathe all the way down to your little shaky toes. You can do this, Andy. Yeah. You're doing an incredible job. Breathe into your tummy, sweetheart.
sorry I missed you, but I'll just
You're doing a great job. You're nearly there. And so just think about little Jessie Red in your head. See his face. You can move now, gorgeous. You can move.
excellent job.
Who was that?
That was Kelly. She snuck a kiss.
Couldn't help myself.
I've been doing the radiation therapy for about a week and a half.
You see me smiling?
But something's working because I've had remarkable pain relief. You know, I'm looking more normal now and I'm feeling better every day and my energy's coming back. I'm back in the normal grind of life, which is nice. I'm almost, you know, I'm ready for work and I've been wondering when I can get back to it. We're at Fox Studios. We both have an audition my friend Jai here, for the same movie for different characters. Did I have to learn? I was supposed to learn the lines, wasn't I?
You're supposed to learn the lines.
I think I've got those.
You haven't. But,
I'll be all right. I'll get through it.
It's all right.
No way.
But we all must hold fast in our belief that the Lord's light will burn eternal.
I'll put this thing aside.
For the first time in a while, I'm not putting everything on hold and going, well, we can't be happy and we can't do stuff we want until this is over. Because really, the good stuff is what's going on right now.
Now we need Daddy to eat lots while he's hungry.
A highlight has been how much time my children got to spend with their grandparents, you know, and how close they are.
You shouldn't be wasting the water.
So amazing that they had that time together. My mum was coming initially because I was getting a stem cell transplant, and that's not going to happen now. So we were like, go home, get grounded. This thing is going to go on for a little while, so, you know, let's all have a break.
I'm gonna miss you.
Oh,
Take care. You know where I am.
I know.
It's hard.
We're just carrying on, you know.
Of course.
Nothing's changed.
No, it hasn't.
It's just time for you to have a break.
Bye, gorgeous.
Thanks, Dad.
That's for everything. You made this journey so much easier. I mean
Wherever
it.
that is. I love you. Thanks for everything. No, you have, Mum. I think for them it was very difficult to go. Because, you know, it's not over. It's not resolved.
Say goodbye!
But as a family, we're much clearer now that we're going to have to try and live with lymphoma. Fuck, it's another beautiful day. I didn't leave the house for 4 days. It was just too hard. Radiation treatment finished about 4 weeks ago. And I was feeling amazing. And then I had pain for like 10 days. I had a scan yesterday. And so we should find out in the next hour how effective the radiation treatment was. So I've lost a few kilos. I'm 77 kilos now. I got weighed yesterday for my scan. What do you think it's going to say, Becky?
The information is irrelevant. What you have to do, whether it's in remission or not in remission, is exactly the same. You have to go on to heal and recover.
Come on, call.
Hi, Angela. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's not dropping off a bit.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
hear you.
Good, okay. How are you, Andy?
I'm good. My pain's much better today, actually.
Right. I heard you were in a bit of pain when you came in.
Yeah, just that lying flat just is the only thing I can't really do.
Now, I've got your scan results here.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go through them with you?
Yeah, do. I mean, our intention today, Angela, is to get clearer, like get a snapshot of where you guys think we're at, and either draw a line in the sand there, and kind of go off and deal with it ourselves, or and also to hear what your thoughts are on, you know, if there is any moving forward with you guys.
Okay. Well, the PET scan is not good news at all. The next month, in fact, is afterwards a few days.
Yeah.
Where he has radiotherapy. And also look like there are two new areas in the chest.
Okay.
So it's not good news.
Yeah. So what does that
Does that mean, is that lymphoma?
Lymphoma.
So
We are dealing with a very difficult lymphoma. I think more radiotherapy is unlikely to change the picture.
Okay, Angela, thank you.
Okay, all right.
Okay, have a good day. Bye. So how do you feel, honey bun?
Well, how do I feel? My cancer has spread. I don't know. I mean, that was the one news I didn't want. I thought if it's the same, then it's the same, you know. Nothing's got worse, and I'm in the same position. I'll just go from here. But for it to have spread is really a bit frightening. And they're saying I've got 3 to 6 months to live. 3 to 6 months.
But you know, you had that 6 months ago and you're still here.
I know, but at the time I was having chemo and radio and
Yeah.
stuff that was
But they're only
buying time.
They're only words, honey. You know, before when you were doing the show, when you were doing the Spartacus show, before the camera used to roll, you used to do this thing where, like, you know, you'd be getting psyched up and you'd be like, I can't remember, you'd always do this like thing every time, a bit like a tennis player or whatever would do their thing, like you'd always do it, and it's time to do that for this.
Whatever, you're right. I mean, it's hardly any different from yesterday, is it?
Well, it's no different.
In fact, it's not as bad as it was the first day I got diagnosed a year and a half ago, where I had stage 4 everywhere.
You've got to get through it. You will get through it. But you have got to roll your sleeves up. They are a bunch of words. If you believe them and put weight in them, they will become our reality. Full stop.
Wow.
It's never dull.
Wow. From my oncologist's point of view, there is no treatment for me. And in that has come a sort of sense of I guess liberation. I feel like I'm excited to be in control of it. And I think that's the main thing, is control. It's the thing that I haven't had. I felt powerless. I felt in a system that just grouped me with other people and gave me the same cocktail, and I hope that it would work. And I feel it's got to be much more fine-tuned than that. The main thing I'm looking for is inspiration, and to be with like-minded people who have survived 10, 20, 30, 40 years against the odds. So it's about being in this group over here where everything's possible. I have to find another way to keep this lymphoma at bay, or make it so that it doesn't affect me. It's up to me now.
I'm packing up the apartment because we're moving house on Friday. What sparked that was that
Andy can no longer do the stairs. And we have Andy's mum here, who arrived last Wednesday.
to see us, stay with us, see Andy, just be around.
And she's been amazing. There's no smiling through it saying everything's fine. You know, she's really present. And she gets where the situation is at.
It's massive. There, the sofa could go in there. Anyway, we'll work all that out later.
I'm sort of juggling pain and sanity at the moment. And on top of that, my left leg started to get numb.
Are you okay getting down, honey?
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember what they taught me. It said, don't fall downstairs.
It's been a real adjustment, and that's hard. It's really hard. You just go, will I ever get, you know, when will I get my husband back? I don't know about that. So it's just adjusting to that and holding a space for that being possible, and then seeing the breakdown, you know, quicken and accelerate, and just going, okay, how do we stop that acceleration? So I need to support him to do something to stop that acceleration. But I actually thought it's a really nice space to have kids playing around and, you know.
I just get a sense that something like cancer has a switch, and you can reverse it if you find out where that switch is. And I guess I'm in that stage of exploration of what or where that switch is. But damn, it would be good to go to New Zealand, have some acupuncture, and get some tangible, you know, changes in my body. So that's the plan. The speed at which things are moving or have changed, I guess, has brought another level of anxiety. And I'm not really sure where Vashti is with this, because she's doing an incredible job of just getting on with everything.
I'm really proud of you, Daddy.
I love you.
Big cuddles for Daddy Bear.
I wish I could come in.
Well, you know what? Another time. We've got to look after the house, okay?
I want to continue this life with seeing my children grow up. But say I didn't make it, I know Vashti would get through. You know, she'd bring up our kids, and my kids would have an extraordinary life.
I'll be at the end of the phone, okay? Okay, I love you. Bye. Bye.
I don't regret, you know, the way I've approached it. You know, at the end of the day, if life happens, don't try and deny that it's there. Experience it.
What a brave Daddy Bear. Okay, let's go and get warm.
I just think it's still part of some amazing journey, you know? I don't know if I would ever have looked at it that way had I not spent the last 12 years with Vashti.
When I said goodbye to Andy in the cab, I didn't think in less than a week I was going to be going up to collect my husband, who I felt had very, very short time left.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to land. Please fasten your seatbelt.
When I got to New Zealand, it was quite shocking. He was so in and out of lucidity.
And suddenly he did this snap into focus and he said, I want to go home. Because somewhere in him, he knew it was time to go and he wanted to go home. But the whole journey I watched Andy because I wasn't sure he was going to make it. And in the morning, we took him to the hospice. And when I started to see Andy fading, I brought the kids in. And I said, the kids have come to say goodbye now, darling. And he said, I'm going to go soon and I have to go up to heaven because my body is really broken. And Indy went, why, Daddy? And he said, because my body is broken like a butterfly when its wing is broken. It can't fly anymore. It has to go. And he said, but don't worry because I'm going to go up into the sky and every time you need to see me, I will be there. Just look for me. And that was how he said goodbye to the kids. And I lay down next to him and we just lay still. And there was this moment where I said to him, you know, I need you to know how much I love you. And he kind of it made this funny noise and he just made this like, I love you, like, he sounded like Rocky after his winning his fight, but I got it. And it was amazing that he, out of nowhere, was able to do that, you know, just to honor. I didn't need to hear it, I know it, I knew it. And he just took these big, deep breaths, and then he just died. It was a very beautiful, peaceful moment. And I felt like he went to suddenly being really strong again. We opened our front door in Sydney and it's black and white tiles and literally laid out perfectly in the center of the front doorstep is this exquisite big black and white butterfly. And the kids were like, oh my God, there's a butterfly and the dad has come to visit us. Look, it's just like Dad, it's got a broken wing. It was a really extraordinary experience just seeing how my children had created this really wonderful kind of symbol of their dad. And so I see this little man have this happen to him and this little girl, and I know that it can only have them be more extraordinary. And I believe that 100%.
How high can they go?
And for me, I lost my best friend and I lost my husband of like 10 years and my lover of 13 years, and it hurts like a fucker. But the reality is that I got 13 years of the most extraordinary relationship and lived a crazy life and a beautiful life. I don't see how you can't turn something like this into something wonderful. Because what else is there to do? And he would be so proud because it has all been initiated by him. Andy just came to join us. The way that he chose to live and his quiet ambition for making things happen in his life. It's really inspired me to just be empowered and try things myself for the first time. And it feels kind of exciting. Hello, little elves. And by the way, that's how he ran his life, and he still died. So all this stuff about being powerful at manifestation and making the most of life doesn't mean you're going to get happily ever after, but that's the whole point. It's like you get what you get, so make the most of it, because it can be something extraordinary. Come on, let's go. Let's go. I need a drink. But for now, we're just going to focus on being here now, as cheesy as that sounds, and living more fully. So really enjoying life and making the most of it.